Capos are for cheaters. That's what I used to think, and I never understood why somebody would want to use a capo. But I learned that that's not at all accurate. So I saw David Wilcox, and now I want to explain real quick why somebody would want to use a capo. So the caged sequence of learning the guitar, the CAGED. All right, that leaves out two chords that give people fits. That's the F and the B7 or the B minor. Those really give people a fit. So sometimes it's a voice leading thing why you want to use a capo, and sometimes people don't want to do the bar chord version of that. So let's see. I can get by with playing D, B, G, and A there. Now, if I was just starting out, I would think, oh, I have to learn the D chord, a bar chord. But once you keep doing that and you get frustrated with going to that B minor and then the A and this, you start maybe coming up with shortcuts or figuring out a different voicing. And what I do with that is, if I wasn't playing with a capo, I would do So yeah, you can do that. You can do that. Now, the ability for you to screw that up is much higher because there are open strings there that will not sound good, particularly depending on what chord you're in. That B minor this way. So, you could use the capo to get a different voicing. Now, again, somebody could be down here playing those voicings, and then if there's two guitars, you don't want to do that. You don't want to play the same exact thing. You could get different voicings and structures, and they complement each other. It's almost like harmonizing, right? So you could do it two ways for this example for today. You could try that. Okay. That is just far enough away, and there's really no stinker notes there depending on the chord. You know, you could try that, or you could try this. Now, there's one way to play this without capos, and then I used a capo, and I did this, and now I'm using a capo, and I'm going to go to a different thing. More on that in a second. Now, this is a G shape, but I'm in the key of D. Pull it a little sharp. There's a trick. If you're using a capo and one of your strings pulls sharp, I didn't take it off and retune it and put it back on and it's still out of tune, right? So, gotta tighten it just a little bit. That's good that happened. I can address it. That B string is sharp. So what do you do with that? You just barely pull the B string. That's better. So just barely pulling, because as you're going up, the action is not 100% flat. You need a little relief. So you're pulling the string down. When you do that, it'll go sharp. That's better. Okay, where am I getting these shapes? What am I doing with that? How did I know to do that? Well, that comes from the CAGED music theory stuff. So here's D. That's the D we all learn in open position. Okay, well, I put my capo on the 2nd fret, and then that shape is a C shape, but with the capo on the 2nd fret, everything goes up a whole step. So this chord is a C shape, but it's actually a D chord. Okay, there's another one here that we can use that I didn't use in this example, and that is the 5th fret, and here is the on the 5th string. You got to move around a little bit for that, and that's not a fun one to use. But here's D, and then a B minor 7 here, and then this shape is the D shape, but with this capo it's the G chord, and then the E shape turns into an A using that. That 2 chord is kind of not fun to do unless you really wanted to use that voicing for a particular reason. And then what I did was I went to the 7th fret, and now I'm using this progression as the G shape is now a D. We're in the key of D using this G shape. E minor shape, and then C shape, and D shape. So this is D, B, G, A. So, using the idea of the CAGED sequence and those fingerings, those chord shapes, and you start using the capo, you can move all up and down the fretboard, and you can harmonize with another guitar player. And it's exactly like what they did in Hotel California. So you have and then the 12th string is way up here. That's exactly what they did, and it separates the guitars, and it makes the part sound larger. So that is the reason people use these. So no, they're not for cheaters. They are to open up the arrangement, leave room for things to happen in their own space. Because if guitars were doing the same thing, they would get cluttered in that frequency range. So you're opening up things, especially if you do a 12-string guitar or an acoustic guitar, or if you're doing an acoustic guitar and an electric guitar, they occupy different frequencies. So yeah, the CAGED stuff, I came to CAGED late as far as a concept. I just knew it from years of playing, but once I kind of went backwards and discovered that, it really made everything click, and then I used that as a teaching apparatus. So hopefully that helps, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.